Hey mama, sometimes inductions are necessary to kickstart labor. Whether you've planned on this or not, you want to know how to be best prepared for this scenario, and I want that for you too. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you 7 tips to help prepare you and give you the most out of this experience of an induced birth. I'm Bridget and I'm a doula in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I love helping moms love their birth. For more tips and tools on how to have an empowered pregnancy, birth, and postpartum period, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell so you don't miss any of my future videos, and thanks for being here. Maybe an induction was a part of your plan, or maybe it wasn't. Either way, you want to be walking into birth as prepared as you can. So by the end of this video, you're going to have 7 tips and tools to be putting into your tool chest to bring into birth so that you can have a love your birth experience. Mamas that I've worked with who have needed inductions have been able to walk away from their birth experiences feeling empowered and even encouraged, even though things started off differently than they hoped they would. And that can be you too. And so I'm going to be giving you these 7 tips that are going to help you make the most out of this induction. So why are inductions given? Inductions should really only be given if they are medically necessary, like if you have diabetes and you are about to go over your due date, or if you have preeclampsia or baby's not getting adequate nutrition from the placenta anymore. Bottom line, if the womb is no longer the safest place for baby to be, then an induction may be necessary in order for them to be born. However, inductions are sometimes unnecessarily done, like if your doctor is going out of town and they need to be there for the birth, or if a holiday is coming up and you want to have the baby born before Christmas or Thanksgiving, or maybe you are just 41 weeks and you are tired and you want to have your baby. If it's a non-medical reason why you're thinking of getting induced, I really would encourage and advise you to wait, because a lot of times baby's just not ready. That due date is just guesswork. It's just an estimate. And so maybe baby needs a little bit longer, or if it's just a social reason for the holidays. I know it might be hard to be pregnant over Thanksgiving because you can't eat as much, but it might be better for you to wait, not only because baby might not be ready, but because induced labors are oftentimes actually harder than spontaneous labors. But let's say it is necessary and you are needing to get this induction for your baby to be born. Let's hop into these 7 tips for you. I should note here that while there are lots of different ways labor can be induced, in this video we are going to be talking about a Pitocin-induced labor. Pitocin is a synthetic form of oxytocin, which is the body's natural labor hormone. And so when a woman goes in to have an induction, Pitocin is generally given to help kickstart this labor. So tip number 1 is to stay distracted and rest at the beginning. Typically, induced labors can be lengthy processes, and so it's important that at the beginning, while things haven't maybe quite gotten really started and contractions aren't too intense, that you are resting, that you are staying distracted, so that the process doesn't seem as long as it could. The reason why an induced labor is often a lengthy process is because nurses and doctors are having to kind of guesstimate how much Pitocin is needed in order to get those contractions picking up and to really keep labor progressing as it should. When I'm working with mamas who are getting induced, I always encourage them to communicate with their care provider that they want to be started on the lowest dose of Pitocin possible. And the reason for that is because they want to see how their body responds to that Pitocin, and maybe just that little bit amount is going to help kickstart labor for them. And typically care providers are already going to do that, but it's just good to be communicating with them so that they are clear in understanding what you want. So if your contractions aren't really building in intensity or getting any closer together, typically a nurse is going to come in about every hour to up your dosage of Pitocin. And I encourage you to either tell the nurse or have your partner or your doula ask the nurse to tell you when they are upping that Pitocin. And the reason for that is just so that you are aware that you're in the loop, that you are feeling empowered with what they are doing, and just facilitating conversation between you and that medical staff. So labor can be long because of how Pitocin works, so make sure you are resting and staying distracted at the beginning. The second tip that I have for you is breathe and stay relaxed. You know how much I believe in breathing and helping your body relax and relieve that tension and exhale any of that stress that you are experiencing. And so that is so true during the induction process. So as those contractions become more intense and more challenging, it's so important to remember to trust and relax and allow your body to do what it is meant to do and not fall into that fear, tension, pain cycle that it is sort of easy to fall into when we are not breathing correctly and when we are, anticipating the challenges of each contraction. As you breathe, try to focus on your baby's heartbeat. When you're induced, you're going to have continuous fetal monitoring, and that's because they just want to keep a close eye on how baby is responding to the Pitocin that is helping your contractions move along. Focusing on the heartbeat and sending your breath down to your baby is going to be really beneficial in helping you remember to take those deep breaths because, mama, your breath is your baby's breath. Your relaxation is your baby's relaxation. And so remember to breathe and stay relaxed because the baby is going to feed off of the energy that you are sending it. The third tip that I have for you is to start practicing your comfort measures once those contractions start picking up. It's important during inductions that you not wait too long when those contractions are feeling unbearable or uncontrollable to then start doing your comfort measures, because by that point it's a little bit too late to fall into the rhythm and the groove of your labor. One of the hardest parts about a Pitocin induced labor is that once you are in the full swing of labor, you rarely get a break from those intense contractions. So it's important that once you start feeling like you're really having to breathe through those contractions, that they're feeling more intense, more pressure, that you start getting into the groove, the rhythm of those comfort measures so that you know what works for you. You know the things that maybe you don't like done. So that as things start getting more intense, you know how you're going to respond, you know what you want, and you're kind of already into that rhythm of labor. Some of these comfort measures are visualization, counter pressure, swaying, and breathing. Really whatever works for you to help you get through those contractions that you're experiencing. The fourth tip that I have for you is to keep moving and let gravity help you do the work. So whether you are still mobile and able to walk around and sway with your partner, or use a birthing ball, or sit on the toilet, those are all great ways. Or maybe you are in your bed because you have had an epidural. Maybe that's just switching sides back and forth from one side to the other. Those are all ways to keep moving to help baby get in a good position in your pelvis and help baby get down and out. The fifth tip that I have for you is to not watch the monitor. The reason for that is because sometimes when you're watching the monitor and watching when you're about to have a contraction, it makes you more anxious as you're anticipating the discomforts and challenges that this contraction might bring. Instead, listen to your body. You're going to know when that contraction's coming, when it's going to reach its peak, and when it's going to come down. It does end, mama, so there is relief at the end of it. And then listen to your baby's heartbeat and remember to breathe. Remember, your breath is baby's breath. Your relaxation is baby's relaxation. So keep your eyes off the monitor. The sixth tip that I have for you is to know what you want, know your why, but also be flexible. You probably didn't go into your birth with an induction as a part of your plan, which just goes to show how unpredictable birth can be. So mama, know what you want, know why you want those things, but also know that things, especially when it comes to inductions, can change. Maybe you didn't want to have an epidural for this induction, but because of it, you're several hours in and you're just feeling tired and exhausted, and you just need some relief, some time to rest, some time for your partner to rest, so that you guys can come out of that rest period with renewed energy so that you can birth your baby and walk away from this experience with a positive birth memory. So yes, things might have to change, which is why you might need to walk into your birth experience with open hands, with a flexible plan, but know that when you are the one making the decisions, you are going to walk away feeling empowered and encouraged from this birth experience. The seventh tip that I have for you is to have a doula. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a doula and I love doulas. I'm saying that because having a doula there can really bring in her experience and skill into a challenging and lengthy process that inductions usually bring. Oftentimes with inductions, you're going to have to make decisions that maybe weren't necessarily a part of your plan. And having the doula there to help facilitate conversation between you and your care provider so that you get, a full idea of the decision that you have to make, or to help you ask the right questions, is really going to help you feel empowered throughout your birth experience. The doula is not only there to help you, mama, but is also a huge support for your partner. When your partner needs to rest or go get food or run and get you ice chips or juice, your doula is there to support them while they do what they need to do, while also being all hands on deck with you so that you are getting the care that you need. Having a doula by your side during an induced labor can make a world of difference with making you feel cared for, supported, and empowered throughout your experience. Mamas, I hope these 7 tips help you feel encouraged and empowered if you are walking into an induced birth. I believe you are going to have a beautiful and amazing birth, even if things started out kind of in a way that you didn't plan. Thanks for watching this video, mamas, and I will see you in the next one.